Just 2 days after being axed from United squad for the derby, Marcus Rashford revealed that he could be leaving the club as early as January. Can you believe that? So speaking to SJA Sports Journalist of the Year, the brilliant Henry Winter, Marcus said, "For me personally, I'm ready for a new challenge and next steps. When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about United. That's me. I will always be a Red." The man that broke the news was Henry, and despite it looking like Rashford's United career is over, Henry said it's definitely not the end of Marcus Rashford's story.
He looks to me in good shape, and I'm sure he'll go somewhere and do well. Because it's interesting, because you think Marcus Rashford has been playing for Manchester United for 9-10 years, and yet he's 27. He's got another sort of 7-8 years to go. He hasn't got any sort of big injuries that have sort of dogged him down the years. So there's a lot left in Marcus Rashford, and that sort of as you say, being a sort of senior citizen, I like to take a step back and look at an individual in terms of what he can contribute, what he can still contribute. And yes, I mean, Ruben Amorim says if he needs to do more in training, absolutely. Application is key. But there's a good person in there, and there's still a good player in there.
There you go, Henry Winter. By the way, Ali,
yep.
Wyn Davis was up front for Newcastle as well.
Brother Ron Davis.
McFall. I don't know if he played, but yeah, you're right. That's the two. McFall. Gibb, was it someone Gibb played as well? For Rangers, who played?
Oh, it'd be Greggy, wouldn't it? Greggy would have played in that game. I'm trying to find a team here.
Oh, yeah. And we'll come back to that. So Marcus looks to be leaving United. We want to hear from you, United fans. Are you sad to see him go? Will you be sad, or is it time? Does it suit both? Let's move on. And good luck to you, Marcus. Or are you happy he's on his way out, like Michael, who called the sports bar last night? This is Michael.
There's only 3 managers since Sir Alex Ferguson left who got the best out of him. Van Gaal, Solskjaer and Ten Hag. But he's a bad apple, because let's be honest, Amorim, like I said on Sunday in his press conference, the reason he actually didn't play because he didn't like what he saw in training. He's been allowed to be getting away with it. The club not letting him out, Jason. He's let himself down. These players are meant to motivate themselves.
Okay, let's get more on this with talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs. Where could it be going? Ben, a very good morning, Ben.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Very well, Ben. Ali's struggling with his throat, but no, we're good. Clubs in Europe. Where could Marcus head off to?
Well, I think Europe is the key word, because Rashford also has to think at 27, where's he going to stand the best opportunity of playing and giving himself the chance to also have England selection. And therefore, although there are Saudi suitors, I think it's less likely in 2025, January or summer, that Saudi Arabia will be a destination. That said, central deal makers met with Manchester United actually in January 2023, and Rashford, along with Casemiro, and at that point, Rafael Varane, were noted as possibilities of players that might become available in the next few windows. And Al Qadsiya and Al Ittihad were 2 clubs that expressed an interest in Rashford. Then if we look at European suitors, you have long-standing links with PSG. Yeah. And it's true that Nasser Al Khalifi met twice with the Rashford camp, once before he signed the new long-term deal and once after. But on both opportunities, when there was a chance to perhaps engage with Rashford, particularly before the new deal was signed, the PSG camp felt that they were kind of being used as leverage to get Rashford something that he wanted at Manchester United, and therefore PSG will not move for Rashford unless they're given a basically come and get me plea. And you could argue that maybe that interview with Henry Winter is a kind of come and get me plea. And then you've got Spain as possibility as well. Barcelona have explored Rashford, but the wages are a stumbling block. And you also maybe have the possibility of a few other clubs that will look at the Mason Greenwood, even though it was different circumstances, type scenario, and say, is there now an opportunity to loan Marcus Rashford, which may open the door up to not just a Barcelona or Real Madrid type suitor, if Manchester United are prepared to entertain a different kind of structure, a loan perhaps with an option or an obligation. So Rashford won't be short of suitors, but at this stage, we can't speak of a formal or a meaningful approach from Barcelona or PSG.
Do you not think it will tell you a lot about where his head is, Ben, where he goes? And by that, I mean, if he decides to go to Saudi at his age, that would be a poor decision, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you would think so. Ivan Toney's gone there, and there's no indication yet that his England chances are over. And actually, Thomas Tuchel and his manager, Matthias Jassel, know each other well. In fact, Jassel learnt his trade off Thomas Tuchel. So we wait and see if that sort of sets a precedent, because if Tony somehow got selected, other players might turn around and say, okay, Saudi Arabia could be viable. But I think going to Saudi in the 12, 16 months before a major tournament is not the best move when you consider he was dropped anyway playing at Manchester United for the last major tournament under Gareth Southgate. So the door would probably be shut if he went to Saudi Arabia. But money and the ambition of the Saudi Pro League, some players may decide, you know what, might not have been picked anyway, 28, 29 for Rashford by the time that tournament comes around. Therefore, Saudi Arabia may say something very bullish, like, if you want to have this move and this money, then we're not going to wait for you for 1 or 2 years. You've got to make up your mind now. You've got to pick us. And it wouldn't surprise me if Michael Emenalo, the central Saudi deal makers and the clubs that are interested are very much like, this offer is short term. It's circumstantial because at the moment you're in and out of the Manchester United side. If you want Saudi, go now. Otherwise, we're pulling it off the table. And that's where we should still keep an eye on Al Qadsiya, not a PIF-owned club, and Al Ittihad, who are a very ambitious and well-funded one, because both of those teams have told Michael Emenalo that if Rashford is available in the market, they want in.
I take it it's too early for even thinking about America. I'm just thinking with the World Cup coming up, with Bex or something like that, would it be a real, incredible signing if he was to go to the States? Because that might suit him now. He might think, I'm going to have a bit of, I'm going to go and have a nice life and enjoy myself again.
Yeah, MLS could be a possibility. Maybe. It'd be a real coup for them. And I think that with the Club World Cup, there's this exceptional window that MLS is slightly more likely to take, maybe even than the English FA, where they can sign players between the 1st and the 10th of June in time for that tournament. So then you look at the 40 to 60 million that Seattle and Inter Miami get by competing in that tournament, plus backing from MLS. Those clubs are going to make some ambitious signings. I think Inter Miami are more leaning towards Neymar and reuniting Messi, Suarez and Neymar, but don't entirely rule out MLS. You've got San Diego, who are also linked with Kevin De Bruyne, not in the Club World Cup, but very ambitious. And as I said a moment ago, you've got Seattle, who are also going to get a big injection of money because they're playing in that Club World Cup. So MLS is not seen as the favoured destination for Rashford. I think he wants to stay in Europe, but it wouldn't surprise me if we do get a suitor from that particular part of the world.
Ben, nice one. Keep us in touch.
Cheers,
thank you. Ben Jacobs there. Right, what about it? 03717 223344. Let's take a quick call now. What about David, the United fan? David, a very good morning.
Morning, David.
Morning, Alan. Morning, Ali. For Bucky again. How are you doing?
From Bucky, eh? Cool. I bet you're a wee bit chilly up there, pal, eh?
No, it's fine up here, Alan. Alan, boys, I've been engaged a few times, and I think Ali's maybe had a wee dalliance with a wife or two as well. Sometimes marriage comes to a natural end. Sometimes it just happens. There's nobody at fault. There's not going to be some huge issue. Rashford has been a Man United boy all the way through. He's been absolutely pilloried for post. He was made a hero during the pandemic, and then they've brought him down. The lad just needs to go and get a fresh start somewhere else. We need to thank him. We need to say, look after him, make sure he's all right. And the money these are just boys. A lot of jealousy there, a lot of nonsense. Let the laddie go on, play his football somewhere else, and wish him well. And it's just a natural conclusion.
Well done, David. There you go.
Well said.
Done. Where's David? Thank you. Where's Bucky? How far up is that?
Oh, it's right on the north coast.
Is it? And he says it's all right up there.
He said it's mild.
Mild?
Yeah.
What does that mean? -3?
No, but it'll be nice. I bet it's nice up here just
Bucky,
now.
yeah? How do you know all these places?
Bucky Thistle.
Yeah, you played up there?
I'll bet you have. I bet you have in a testimonial.
Yeah.
Bucky, what else? I'm in Forest Mechanics.
All right, yeah.
Forest Mechanics. What else?
Sounds old David's not having a good time with the old romance at the moment, eh?
Can I drag me into it as well?
He did. Does he had a wee whisper of Viv in? Coming up, how would I justify missing work the next day if I got too hammered at the Christmas party? You'll get my expertise next.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.